Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Rewatchers Council. My name is Snark. That's my Christian name. Did you know that, Adelia?
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it is. Anyways, and that's my buddy Adelia. Adelia, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm just fine. Looking forward to talking the Zeppo today.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3, episode 13. The most Xander ish episode. I don't know. There's a couple. There's a couple that could actually you could argue that are even more Xander-ish.
Yeah.
There's one coming up that has two Xanders. But anyways, until then, this is the most probably Xander-ish episode. Now, do you have any idea when this episode originally aired?
I do not.
Okay, thank goodness, because I have it right here. January 26th, 1999. It was written by Dan Weber. He wrote 2 episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This was the second one. The first, Lover's Walk. Lover's Walk.
Okay.
So he wrote a couple in pretty quick succession, and it's directed by James Whitmore Jr. His last one was Gingerbread. He's been getting a lot of work this season. Mm-hmm. Down to what was happening? What was going on? This time in 1999, well, number one movie was still Varsity Blues. I Still Don't Want Your Laugh. Number one song in the USA. When you think Brandy songs, the higher echelon of Brandy songs, do you think, have you ever? I don't. I honestly didn't remember this song at all. And I listened to it.
I don't either.
I don't know if I ever heard it. It was a number one song in the US of A at this point. The number one song in the UK, a little bit more by 9/11 or 911. Yeah, that's a thing. And in Canada, oh boy, on her second big album, big release for Jewel. You remember Hands by Jewel?
No.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that song. Her hands are small. She knows, but they're not yours.
I kind of remember it now. Yeah.
Not yours. They are my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You know, this was it a sophomore Jinx maybe? The next one she released after that, she decided to do like a dance kind of album.
I remember that too. Yeah, that didn't go very well.
Yeah. Do you remember anything else from Jewel after that? Except she did pretty good on the Rob Lowe roast. So there you are.
Yeah. Her family in Alaska is on a reality show down here now.
Really?
My parents watch it. Yeah. She appears from time to time on the show.
To give them money?
I don't know. Hi, Brennan. How are you doing?
Hello, sir. I hope Brennan's having a good day. So, we're ready for the DVD summary. While the gang battles creatures from the Hellmouth, Xander has his own adventure when he encounters a group of reanimated corpses, oh boy, out to blow up the high school.
I mean, that's a fairly decent synopsis.
Yeah, well, it seems that
this is out on a bunch, but
it seems that there's a lot of people out to blow up the high school these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do like what they've done with the zombies, though. They're not typical zombies in this world, where they have zero desire to eat human flesh, it seems.
Yeah.
They like beer. They like beer, it seems. All right. On to enough stalling here, Adelia. On to the show. That was pointed at you. Now, starts off with Faith, Buffy, and Giles in an underground lair. Surprisingly, they were in an underground lair in Sunnydale, Adelia. That doesn't happen often, does it?
Shocking.
Some white-faced demon here. Willow's doing an unclouding spell. All right.
I thought she was doing the clouding spell.
Oh,
to make it cloudy.
I thought it was unclouding so that you could actually see the demon show up. Anyways, it shows up.
One or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, it shows up. Giles and Buffy hold this thing while Faith jabs it with a giant sword.
Yeah.
Well,
that happened.
Lucky thing they had that. Poor Xander. Turns out he was roughed up before we caught up with our heroes. He was under a pile of rubble here for a while. Buffy suggests he stays away from the fray here They're worried about his safety, it seems. Then, of course, he reminds her, if it wasn't for him being beaten mercifully, is that the word? Mercilessly, one of the
Mm-hmm.
words. They would never have gotten the upper hand on them. Anyways, he gets his head beat in by these guys. Giles doesn't see the need to do anything with the bodies afterwards, which is
That's
just cool.
interesting.
Well, they're underground anyways. I guess he figures. I don't get it. He'd like to do a little bit more research on these guys, which is tough without his council backing. Of course, he is now a one job guy. I guess I would imagine that he still gets paid to be a school librarian
Mm-hmm.
for school librarying that he actually does. Anyways, the ladies all leave. Giles tells Xander to hang back when fighting's happening, because all he does is get beat up. Xander starts comparing himself to Jimmy Olsen. Won't be the only time this happens. Of course, Giles,
I love how the references just went right over Giles's head.
yeah, he has no idea what that means at all. All right. We cut over to the school quad. Xander is begging for the ball to get thrown to him. Like, they're just gonna beat Xander about the head, but how socially awkward he is. And you got a student
Mm-hmm.
named Doug here, finally giving up from hearing all the whining, throws the ball to him. Of course, he's gonna miss it. There is no way
Of
Xander
course.
Harris was gonna catch a football. Ends up knocking a. What's the best way to describe this guy? A ne'er do well. Is that a nice way to say it? It knocks his
It's one
lunch
way to
out of
say
his
it.
hand. Knocks his
Yeah.
lunch out of his hand, was just in a Ziploc bag for some reason. Uh, he asks Xander if he has a learning disability. I guess it's the most polite way I could say that, because you could say things in 1999, which is our, you know, not
Yeah.
as it's not
You
as accepted at
things
all
that you
these days.
should not say now.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have said then. Definitely should not say now.
yeah. Xander does tell him no, but he did
Yeah.
have to do a test when he was 7. So I did find that funny. Then
Yeah.
this tough guy threatens to cut his face. This
Mm-hmm.
is all right. Like, what is with these guys, anyways? And Xander tells him to cool down. Then the tough guy asks if he wants to start something. Xander's nervous now. He brings up, the Michael Jackson song from Off the Wall. One of your favorite songs, I thought, Adelia, isn't it?
No.
No, okay. And then he's gonna go get some of his buddies and beat Xander's ass in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. By the looks of it, I don't think he would need him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever. Oh yeah, he said he was gonna beat it into a new shape. A new shape, Adelia, like a square. Like, be like a Lego or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the Xander leaves. He gets that ball back to Doug. Of course, Cordelia's been watching this whole thing. Oh yeah, the guy that says O'Toole here. The guy's name is O'Toole. He's a psycho, and he would macrame Xander's face. Now, have you ever macrameed, Adelia?
I have not.
Have you ever seen macrame? Would you actually take the time to get a hanging pot holder? That's what he'd make out of Xander's face.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cordelia, you could have said a lot of other things than that. Anyways,
She could have. Yeah.
she tells him that being a psycho is cooler than being a wuss, which is,
Eh.
all right, yep, sure. It's more interesting. Anyways, we got here O'Toole, meaning Jack O'Toole. Now, he's played by Shannon Rowe. And if Ferris is here, he may know that he was in CSI Miami, and CIS LA, Bones. He's been in everything. He was in one of my favorite all-time movies, though, Boogie Nights. He was, he wasn't like a big part or anything, but he was in it. Corey then says it must be hard since all his friends have powers, but he's just a little nothing. Okay,
That was a little much, Cordelia.
Xander does have a lot coming, but this has been a while now, and it's a constant attack
Yeah.
Xander says, and once in a while he'll give a little jab, but he takes Xander keeps taking a beating, if not physically, emotionally or mentally as well. He says he
Mm-hmm.
has a lot to offer the group. She then calls him the Zeppo of the group, the useless one. Zeppo, when it comes to the Marx Brothers, wasn't useless. They needed a straight man. Not everyone could be zany the whole time, Adelia.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Scooby Gang, I would say that he definitely wouldn't be the straight man. I think it's almost anything Buffy's the Zeppo. But anyways, she looks very pleased with herself and walks off. We go to the cafeteria now. Xander asks Oz what the essence of cool is. Of course, you got to like this with the Oz giving the two-word answers to everything. He wants to know why Oz is cool. He decides because Oz is in a band.
Mm-hmm.
Then he asks him if it's hard to play guitar. Oz answers not the way I play it. I concur. I concur because this is something I've tracked ever since we've met young Daniel Osborne. The way that even he mimes playing guitar, he just he just plays chords all the time. It's like, oh, I know what a G chord is. I know what a C chord is and what a D chord is. He just strums the guitar all the time. Anyways, Xander says he needs a thing. He needs a special thing, Adelia. I says he's overthinking it. He
He
said,
is.
yeah, and then he says, it's not. And of course, we do one of those classic cuts down to the library. Giles telling Buffy, it's the end of the world. It's not,
Yep.
but it is the end of the world. Turns out our unfriendly subterranean folk here, Adelia,
Mm-hmm.
were part of the Sisterhood of J, a doomsday cult bent on the world's destruction. Gosh darn it, these guys have no luck. You know what I mean?
No.
Once again, it's the end of the world, and turns out there's going to be more of these dudes coming. Oz shows up for full moon jail, I guess. He was having he was trying to have a comfortable lunch before he had 3 days of being cooped up. It seems, but here he comes to jail. Giles reminding him he's cutting it a little late for whatever reason, because of course, you know, Southern California goes dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Mm-hmm.
Giles tells Buffy that the Sisterhood are here to open the Hellmouth. Probably the worst news. Probably the worst
Probably
news.
the worst news. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have had better news. Anyways, after school, Buffy fills Willow in, tells her the harvest monster will only be the first thing that comes out of that thing. And if they don't stop them, the world will be overrun by demons. It's up to them again. Gosh darn it. So Buffy recruits her for some research, and Xander pulls up in a convertible. This is a pretty
This
nice
is a
car.
very nice car.
Yeah, it's now his thing. This is going to be his thing to make him cool. A 1957 Chevy Bel Air. I like the powder. The powder blue was nice and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to remember. Like I'm saying, I'm trying to remember the 90s. Uh, uh, I wouldn't consider it cool, but I was never a real car guy. I have a bunch of buddies that are like mechanics and stuff. They love those old cars. And I think the car
Yeah.
looked nice, but it has an AM radio. That's the only thing I would have said. Like,
Yeah. My dad, serious car guy, would have loved that car. Me,
yes,
I didn't get the car gene in the family. I'm the only one, so I wouldn't have cared.
I like that it was a convertible. I guess that counts.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's wouldn't work too well where I live, especially these days. Moving on. Buffy wonders if this is a whole penis metaphor.
Yeah.
It probably was. He's he's renting it from his uncle. His poor uncle Rory had too many DUIs or something like that. He has to take a timeout from driving. It's the 90s. You were allowed to have a whole bunch back then. Buffy tells him it's cool, but she doesn't seem to mean it. She looks like she may be a little distracted with the end of the world once again. Then she tells him about the evil. He vows to help in any way he can. So of course he's offered donuts.
Of course.
Yeah. Somehow, of course. How? Okay. It's just after school. We're imagining. Oz is in the jail. It's still bright and sunny out. Never mind that. He's cutting it close. Xander's gone to a donut shop. The last person you think would be there would be Cordelia Chase.
Yeah, why is Cordelia at the donut shop? I was very confused by that.
I would like to see it. Like this is like this whole story is very Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Like
Mhm.
that's all everything that's happening behind the scenes and stuff like that. If you've never seen the play, guys, I highly suggest you do. It's a lot of fun. It's just the two side characters, the friends of Hamlet, what they did while everything was going on in the castle. So maybe there's a thing where Cordelia's just been stalking Xander just because she has a lot of things to say. Well, a lot of insults and stuff in her head. She just wants to get them all out while she can. Who knows? Anyways, she goes there to mock him, which is on brand for what she's done. Again, calling him expendable. No one cares about his shiny new car, except when he comes up, there's a little pretty blonde lady taking interest in him. She knows more about that Bel Air than he does. Asks if
That's
she'd
for
like,
sure.
asks if she'd like a drive, and tells her she just needs to drop something off, and that afterwards he'll be as expendable to her as he can. A little rubbing in Cordelia's face. He doesn't need to do that. He was the one who did the wrong. I'll still say
Yeah.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a good look. Xander Harrison. Anyways, so there's one place, a couple of kids out on their first drive are going to end up, ideally, it's going to be the bronze.
It's going to be the bronze, yeah.
Red Solo cups filled with whatever. They're all, I'm guessing they're 17. Buffy's birthday is quite early. It's in January, so I would imagine they don't celebrate. I don't think Xander's birthday ever in the show. So to say when his birthday is could be anybody's idea. Anyways, she's telling him about all the guys' cars that she's seen on a first date.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a good idea?
No.
Opening up your car playbook to your new car date.
She seems very into the cars and less into the guys that have the
100%. But he needs to go see Buffy because Angel has run in there. Turns out, big deals, big problems going on. Oh man, apocalypse again. Xander says they're on it. And they're gonna go. They're gonna go to the library. Angel tells them to stay out of harm's way and leaves. He and the blonde girl go to his car. He complains that he's done a lot to help the old Scooby gang out, and that's true. He's done some things. Of course, he puts the car into drive and drives directly into the car in front of him. It turns out no Scooby is ever good at driving a car, it seems. As soon as he puts in gear, he crashes into this thing. Of course, it's going to be Jack O'Toole he runs into. No luck for poor Xander Harris. Once again, we have another mention of the end of the world. So, before we find out what happens here, obviously, Xander has got himself in big trouble. We go to the library. Oz, Werewolf Oz, has got himself pretty worked up. Will's wondering if dogs can actually sense when earthquakes will happen. Buffy discovers that the Sisterhood celebrate victory, Adelia, by eating their fallen enemies.
So disgusting.
Some people like champagne. Some people like the taste of human flesh. But I will say, waste not, want none. They're environmentally responsible. At least those guys eat their enemies. Giles will just leave them lying wherever they fell. Which is ruder. Okay, all right, fine. I was going to ask which is ruder. I guess you've decided. Just leaving their dead bodies where they lay. All right, fine. Giles is frustrated that the council isn't going to talk to him. Buffy tells him that she's going to go see her old pal Willie the Snitch. So we get a little Willie. You know, a little Willie in this one. And Giles is going to go contact the spirit guides. Then goes for a jelly donut, but there aren't any. Willow rats out Buffy, saying that she had three. I did like that. And
Yeah.
it's Giles a little sad. He goes to leave, but suggests Xander do another run just in case he shows up. Maybe we can get some more of those jelly donuts. Buffy says, nope, no way. She wants him away from all this danger. Which, she's looking out for poor Xander.
She is, yeah.
Yeah. But of course, we're going to head straight to danger because Xander is trying to apologize to Jack, tells him his parked car came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, yeah, he doesn't have insurance, but has a little money. I don't know how he has this money.
I don't either.
But yeah, maybe he's lying. He says he says he wants him to be reasonable. Meanwhile, Jack has pulled out an enormous knife.
Mm-hmm.
A knife, I believe Xander compares to a sword. Then asks Xander where he wants it. Blonde girl. Yeah, I keep calling her the blonde girl because I never heard her name said once.
I never heard her name either.
Yeah, so I didn't want to look up what her name was for any reason. Anyways, Jack calls it Katie. Katie the knife. There's got to be a story there, right?
Yeah.
Then he puts Katie against Xander's face and neck, which is whatever. Asking if he feels pathetic right now. Jack says that, their biggest difference is fear. Then gives Xander the knife, throws Xander on top of his cars, like, you can't, you gotta watch out, Uncle Rory's gonna be pissed if that thing gets dented. Meanwhile, he just crashed into another car. But luckily for Xander, a cop shows up.
Yeah.
But he covers for Jack.
Yeah. First up, weird to see a cop by the bronze. I don't think we've ever seen a cop by the bronze before.
Yeah, not one ticket given out. I can guarantee you that for all that underage drinking.
Yeah. And why did he cover for Jack?
He ain't no snitch. Willie might be a snitch, but Xander ain't no snitch. So, because he doesn't though, Jack all of a sudden likes him. Tells him that they should all go pick up the boys. And they're gonna take Xander's car though, since the other one wasn't his anyways. Just hanging out in the red car parked directly in front of the bronze. That's a good parking spot for Xander too, though. He basically got right at the door. You never see that. Anyways, we go to the graveyard now. Jack is invoking the spirit of Uthu, which can't be good.
No.
He's gonna
as soon as we went to the graveyard, I was like, oh God, this is not good.
He's going to start raising his friends from the dead here. Sunnydale, this is not uncommon, I'm sure. The blonde girl screams. Oh, yeah, sorry. We find out her name is Lisette. Lisette.
When did we find that out? I don't remember that at all.
I guess when she was running. That's why I take notes. She's played by Whitney Newland. She was in Desperate Housewives and Charmed. She's a different character altogether in Angel. Yeah, that's about it. Jack's buddy, who gets raised here, a little different. His name is Big Bob. Now, did you recognize him at all?
No.
He's played by Michael Cudlitz. He's been in all kinds of things. He had a long run on a show called Southland. Of course, he was in CSI. He was in Criminal Minds. He was actually in Beverly Hills 90210, something you may see at some point here. He was in D3, The Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
But his most famous roles so far, besides all the voice acting stuff he does, even going back to the original Call of Duty games and stuff like that, he was Abe in The Walking Dead. I know it's one of your favorite shows of all time.
No, it's not. I don't do well with zombies. So.
Well, he's a zombie here. He was never really a zombie. Spoilers, he's never really a zombie in The Walking Dead, but he was sure around a lot of them. So maybe that's why that's how he got the job. He was just comfortable. He was comfortable in that environment. Good for him. It turns out Jack's granddaddy knew how to bring the dead to life. He knew what do you call it? The mojo?
I don't know, but
What is
like, who
going
is
on in
Jack's granddad? Like,
yeah, it's like some like he's from Southern California voodoo guy or something like that. Anyways, Xander's now trying to excuse himself. Jack introduces Bob to him. It's decided that they're going to start raising the others here pretty soon. And luckily, Jack has recorded the last 8 months of Walker, Texas Rangers episodes for Bob. You know.
sure.
Do you remember Conan O'Brien when he had the Walker, Texas Ranger lover? And
No.
it's one of my favorite things ever. Guys, that old Conan show is fantastic. Anyways, they decide they're going to go raise another one, and then they head off. Giles now, luckily for Xander, in the same cemetery. We know that there's some more cemeteries, I guess, per capita than most every other town in, if not America, the entire world. Anyways, he's summoning the spirit guide. He tells it that they're the only hope of finding a weakness in the beast. This can't be good. But their spirit guide's not having it and departs. Oh boy. Xander walks up to see what's going on, asks if they need any help. Giles just says no, that he should stay out of trouble. He's getting this a lot today.
He is, yeah.
Giles has to, Xander has to just stay back for whatever reason. Jack keeps calling for Xander now. Giles says that things are different with this menace, that everyone may need to fight before it's over. So why would you leave Xander out? If everyone may need to fight before this is over, why not just say?
I don't know. I didn't understand that part of what they made the background incident of this episode.
Yeah. Giles is hoping that they at least have a few weeks to prepare for everything that's going on. Unfortunately, we cut over to Willie's bar, and Willie the snitch has been battered around. Once again, he tells Buffy that the apocalypse is happening now. That very night it's going on. Willie,
it's always that night or the next night. They never have time.
He has so much idea. They tried to beat him to find Angel and her. They know the Slayer's there. He suggests that she finds Angel and finds a quiet spot to enjoy their last night on Earth together. Oh boy, very harrowing stuff happening in Sunnydale. But of course, we skip away from that to Xander. Xander's in the car. He now has 4 passengers. We got Bob now wanting beer. There's another guy who wants Taco Bell and girls.
The other 2 do not look as good as Bob does, and Bob doesn't look good either. So
Bob's been underground for at least 8 months. How long were the other 2?
Yeah,
so, not great.
Not great.
Yeah, the one wants to bake a cake, which upon first watch or whatever, it's like, oh, it's like, maybe he's celebrating a birthday or something like that. It was very nice. It's very nice to say.
Bake a cake, so they go to the hardware store.
Yeah, Bob remembers it was an Armenian guy who runs a liquor store that shot him, and now he wants to go kick that guy's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he's still there. We find out that cake baker's name is Dickie, because Jack wants his idea. So they break into a hardware store now. And Xander sees Willow leaving the magic cabinet. All these things, Xander on the periphery. She lets him know what's happening tonight. Of course, Xander has no idea what's going on, but Willow doesn't have the time to tell him about it. He doesn't have the 30 seconds it would take. She rushes off, but runs back to hug him, remind him that she loves him. Oh boy. Xander isn't having this. He's ready to get out of there. Too many zombies. I've said this. If I've said that once, I've said it 100 times. And once again, this is so strange. Anyways, it's not like I can come back or whatever like that. Anyways, it's so weird. So anyways, Jack has come back at this point. He tells the others that Xander wants to leave. They get a little pissed about this. And wondering, they think that maybe he doesn't feel like he's part of the group, so they're going to try to initiate him here. I'm going to maybe hold on. I'm going to hit start cam. What is this done? Oh, I'm just going to move this over. Let's cheat. Whoa! There we go. We'll just use my computer thing. Look
There
how
we go.
look at this. I'm as resourceful as Xander Harris, I suppose. Anyways, they start wondering if he's earned his stripes enough to get initiated. You know, all he's done is drive the three of them around.
Yeah.
Four of them now. I'm sorry. Yes. So they wonder, you know, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Fortunately for Xander, the only way into their little group is by dying.
Yeah. No.
Surprisingly, you know, Xander isn't sold on this. Bob asks.
Shockingly.
Bob asks if he's too good to be dead. Yeah, Xander then asks how Jack's in the gang then. He lifts up his shirt. Get to see an array of bullet holes, none of which look like they would be at an actual organ. Everything seems to be missing, even his stomach, his lungs.
Yeah.
They don't come anywhere near his heart. But anyway, turns out there was a drive-by 3 weeks prior. What area of town would have a drive-by in Sunnydale?
I don't know.
He can't live in L.A. Cordelia knows his name. Anyways, it turns out his Mojo having Grandpa race him just 10 minutes after he passed away. Xander has had enough. Here he yells, enough. And it seems pretty tough for like a second. Like Xander's gonna do something. What he does is run away, which is, also could be smart. They chase him. He just doubles back though, drives off. Has the supplies that they stole from the hardware store in his back seat. While he's driving off, he finds Faith. She's been fighting one of the sisterhood. She drives into the demon. You know, that poor Rory. His car, he gives his car to his nephew. You know, he's had this, that thing looked pretty pristine. Within a day, he's hit a car and an evil demon. So Faith jumps in. They drive off. They head back to her hotel. Delia. This is when the if we had music going, the music would change. Maybe something early 70s. Look at a little Barry White with this. Anyway, she's
I had
a little
forgotten this happens.
Yep, she's a little worked up right now with all that fighting, and she doesn't even get a kill for it. Turns out Xander says he's up for it right now as well. They're very close together. Turns out he's really up for it. Ideally, he mentions he's having a very strange night. Then shirts come off. There's a not too subtle reflection on the television. Afterwards, a brief moment of cuddling before Xander gets thrown out. Faith has had enough. We go to the library now. Oz is really having a conniption fit. Giles says he can sense the Hellmouth opening. He releases him, but Willow manages to tranquilize him, gets a couple of shots out this time. Poor Willow. How many times has a partner had to tranquilize their rampaging significant other? I'm imagining this quite a bit.
Yeah.
I know Tanya's had to do it to me quite a bit. So Xander gets back to his car, notices that all the kerosene and wires and powder and pipes. Then it finally dawns on him, they're not baking any cakes. Maybe one of my favorite lines in the entire series. I love it.
Yeah.
He heads back to the hardware store to find them. Sees that they're not around. Takes a moment to remember he just had sex for the first time. He's a man. He's a man now. And then drives off to find Buffy because, of course, Buffy's going to know what to do. Except, Buffy and Angel are in a crisis. Angel's the only one that can bide Willow the time to cast a spell that's going to bind it, meaning, I guess, the beast. She can't watch him die. Not again. Gosh darn it! Like, what do you want to? This is within a year of each other. She's gonna have
Yeah.
to watch her boyfriend die twice. They each profess their love for each other. She reminds them that he may be ready to go. He may be able to do the valiant White Knight thing, but she isn't ready to lose him again, Adelia. It was all very hard. But then, Xander shows up and asks if he can help. No one says anything. They just look at him strange, and then he leaves. He starts walking up the stairs to the mansion once again, and he says he just needs to find out what they're likely to bomb.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go there first. First, we're going to go to Giles, performing a ritual in the library. Will comes back from moving Oz around, and then she says that she knows the incantation he's doing, wants to help, but he wants her to stay back since they don't know what's going to be coming from beneath them. And what beneath them right now is 4 undead jerks.
Mm-hmm.
They've assembled a bomb. Like, of all the things the zombies are gonna do, a bomb. Also, they're insane. Anyways, it's so strange. It's gonna go off in an hour. Why did they give themselves an hour?
I don't know.
Who knows? Xander is driving to find Giles now. He sees the 4 hooligans on the street. He grabs I'm not sure which one it is. I don't think it's Dickie. I think it's the other one. I think it's the other one.
Yeah.
The other one with the poor, I'll say the poor hairline, for someone who's been recently in high school before he died. He wants to know where the bomb is in the high school. He's grabbing it by one arm, and then does some more driving. And then the other zombies tells him that it's in the boiler room. Of course it is, and there's nothing ever good that happens in a boiler room. Xander wants to know one more question. He needs it answered. How does he defeat? And as he says it, he runs into a mailbox and knocks the zombie's head off.
Typical Xander.
What rotten luck, I say. So he drives off to the school. The remaining 3 are somehow right behind him. I don't know how fast this car goes. I don't know how fast a 1957 Chevy Bel Air goes. But not fast enough to, just leave zombies in the dust, I guess. Meanwhile, once again, monsters are coming through the Hellmouth. This isn't good. Like, it's the end of the world as not only we know it, as they know it. Buffy, Faith, Giles, Willow, Angel are there watching it come out. The zombies run by the library. The one, I believe the one left is Dickie that stops to have a look. And then the 3 zombies split up. They have to find Xander. They cannot let Xander, defuse that bomb. Never mind that there's a huge Hellmouth Hydra going on in the library. Yeah. Bob finds a fire axe. Breaks the glass because this is an emergency. Finds Xander in the student lounge / cafeteria area. Knocks him down. Xander's fighting back though. Now Bob's on the ground. And instead of using the axe that Xander has recently claimed from Zombie Bob, he uses it to push a chip machine over on his head.
Yeah.
Like, that is, come on. What are you doing? Those chips, like, that's a man's livelihood that you just hurt by smashing that thing. When you had the axe. You had the axe. Anyways, then we get Dickie show up. Xander tries to use a cool line on him, but the zombie just runs away. I would have done it too. Let's see, Buffy get thrown about 20 feet through a hallway. The demon tentacles are following now. This is way worse than anything that ever happened at the Harvest. She's yelling at Faith to go for the heart. Now, I don't know how Faith would know where it is. But Xander keeps chasing Dickie, and then we get a Han Solo moment. He chases Dickie into a corridor that we don't see. Then the 2 of them, of course, run off because here comes the Sisterhood of Jay chasing after him. Xander turns a corner. The zombies go after poor Dickie, tear Dickie to shreds.
Yeah.
How unfortunate. You become a zombie. You become an undead. Basically a demon. And there's other demons that rip you apart after that. Terrible. Xander starts remembering he should go to that boiler room, and then, of course, a tentacle head pops through the wall, gives him a look. Just a little added gumption to get his butt in gear, find that boiler room. He finds the bomb. There's 90 seconds to go. This can't be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He starts working on it, but Jack's back. They start fighting. Jack whips out Katie once again. He describes all the gruesome stuff he's going to do to Xander here. It's not great. He reminds him that he's going to have to do this all in 49 seconds as he starts fighting back. Jack again regains the upper hand. Xander gets up once again, gets between Jack and the door. Asks him if he likes his chances of getting through him before the bomb explodes. At this point, does Jack think he's going to go from the boiler room through Xander to the top
Who
of the first
knows?
floor and then out? These guys can run as fast as Chevy Bel Air, so I'm going to say not impossible. And then he asks them who has the most to fear. Jack may be back, but being blown to bits is different than you're having some beers with your buddies instead. 20 seconds ago now, Jack asks Xander if he's ready to die. Xander says he likes the quiet, all cool like. He likes the quiet. All right. And now we go back to the library. Still a huge fight. The Scoobies are there. There's tentacles. There's sisterhood involved now. The bomb keeps ticking. 10 seconds. 6 seconds. It hits 6 seconds. You look at Xander. The thing makes 5 more ticks, Adelia.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the clock again. It says 5 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. Again, that's how time works in the Hellmouth. Now we go back down to 2. Jack doesn't call Xander's bluff. He disarms the thing. Xander calls him a good boy. He tells him he doesn't want to see him around campus anymore. Now Xander's pretty tough. You know what I mean? He walks off. He leaves Jack with the bomb. No matter. Jack is going to soliloquy about not going anywhere. You haven't seen the last of Jack O'Toole. He opens up the door and is attacked by Oz. So poor, then nothing ever worked out for these poor zombies.
No, it did not.
Oh, well, next day we hear that Willow says that they could still hear it screaming after the Hellmouth closed, which is, and we find out Angel is going to be okay, thank goodness, because I guess he was attacked or whatever. Buffy's in a sling. Willow will be forever scarred, but the thing's real face.
Ugh.
All right. Buffy tells Giles he did the bravest thing she's ever seen. Willow amends that no one will ever know what they did to save the world. That's true. As Xander shows up, Willow's glad he wasn't at school last night. Xander gets to have coy smiles for himself. And then he offers to get everyone snacks. Nobody wants any. Oz says he's oddly full.
We know why.
Delicious zombie meat. He runs into Cordy now. She tries to talk down to him. He just smiles. He walks past. And that's the end of the Zeppo. A fun episode, considering everything that's to come. Because the next episode is Bad Girls. Things are going to change. It's maybe one of the least lighthearted episodes of the season. I think that's easy to say.
I think that's safe to say, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it was. I really enjoyed watching the Zeppo again. Can't wait to watch Bad Girls. Adelia, thanks so much for talking about it with me.
Of course.
Now, we have this whole Let's Get Ready network. What else are you doing on it?
You can also find me and Snark on Starting 11, the Premier League recap show over on the sports channel. That's usually Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. But we won't have an episode this coming week because there's no Premier League matches this weekend. So we will be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll get to sleep in for once. We will be back in 2 weeks on that show. We just had our 100th episode this week, so go check it out. That's over on the channel now. There's links to both channels in the description of this episode. If you would please subscribe to both of them, we would really appreciate it. Also, like this video if you would please. Thank you.
Yep, join our Discord. It's free now.
Link to that in the description as well.
Yeah, we got some Ko-Fi if you guys want to do more than just just a little support. It's anything's appreciated, guys. Just join our Discord. It would be super fun to talk more things like Buffy and other subjects, and then you get to talk to guys from Alabama, for instance, every once in a while. Brazilians. Speaking of Brazilians, LGRN After Snark. That's the show I do on the weekends with our pal Danny. No After Snark this weekend either. So what am I going to do with all my time?
Well, we're doing a Super Bowl watch along over on the sports channel on Sunday. We're starting, I believe, at 3:15 Pacific, 5:15 Central, because the game starts at 5:30 Central. So check that out if you want to hang out with us while we watch the Super Bowl. It'll be me, Ferris. I think Justin's going to be on there. A couple other people. And then we've also got an episode of What on Earth Are They Wearing for the Grammys coming out this weekend. There was some interesting things worn at the Grammys. Let's just say that.
Clothing from head to toe.
On his head. Jaden Smith had a castle on his head, and Kanye's wife wore nothing. So we're going to talk about it all. And then you can also find me on the Daredevil post credits that we're doing over on this channel here. We should have the season 1 finale out probably tonight.
No one wore a Rewatchers Council t-shirt or hoodie?
No.
Monsters. Who's a real monster? Anyways, thanks so much, guys. Yes, so everything's going to change next week, including, a new watcher.
I believe Councilman at Large Brennan will be joining us next week. I have to check.
Too fun. It's always great when he shows up. It's always great when all of you show up to watch or listen. And until the next time, guys, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, bye-bye.